Hi, I'm registered dietitian and chef Abby Gelman, and today we're going to talk all about canned produce, canned seafood, all the canned goods, and we're going to make a creamy vegetable soup that is made completely, well, 95% out of canned goods. Now, I'm calling it creamy. But there is no dairy in it. We're actually going to use some of the items in front of us to make it that nice texture, creamy texture, and it will be plant-based and vegan. So first, let's talk about a few things. I have some onions, which we're going to saute. So I'm just going to actually turn my pot on here. We want to make sure that when we put our oil in our pot or our skillet, that the pot or the skillet is hot. So I'm just going to turn this on and get it going before I put in any oil. I have some onion, garlic, I've got some spices, I have some sliced canned beets, sliced canned carrots, some white beans that are canned, some green beans that are canned, and some diced potatoes, also canned. And then over here I have some canned vegetable stock, I have some lemon juice with lemon zest, and some maple syrup. And we're going to kind of walk through everything as we cook today. But first I want to show you all my cans over here. I have fruit, vegetables, seafood, beans, all of the wonderful things over here. I always pack them in my pantry, fully packed full of all sorts of great canned goods all the time. They're affordable. And here's another great informational tip for you. They are sustainable. So cans actually are 100% recyclable, which is amazing. And there is less food waste. So fruit and vegetables, for example, are picked, they're harvested at their peak, and then they're canned within hours, and they won't go bad in your pantry. You can have them for a few years, right? And they'll stay fresh. The minute I open these, it's just like they were harvested yesterday, right? Which is amazing. So let's get started. This has been heating up. I'm gonna put in some olive oil here. I'm gonna let that get heated up. I'm gonna grab myself a little wooden spatula over here, get that ready. And now this is one onion that I've chopped up. I'm gonna put it in there. Ooh, you can hear that sizzle, which is beautiful. Now, we are going to be pureeing the soup, so you don't have to go crazy with what your dice looks like on your onion. You can chop it roughly, you can mince it fine, you can dice it in between, whatever you like, because we will be pureeing it. The main point here is to just kind of make sure that we cook it. We want to make it translucent or even a little bit golden brown, depending on how you like the flavor of your onion. We're going to let that cook for a couple minutes. I have some salt and pepper here, and that's going in. I do like to put salt in the beginning when I'm sauteing vegetables, because that salt will leach out the moisture. It'll get that water to kind of come out of those vegetables, and it'll help it cook faster, make it caramelize a little bit nicer. There you go. Here we go. This is cooking. All right, I'm gonna let this cook. It's on about medium to medium high. The garlic's gonna go in next, and let's talk about our spices. I'm doing kind of a Moroccan inspired dish today, so I have ground cumin, ground coriander, and ground cinnamon. You can, of course, do whatever you like. If you wanna make something that is sage, parsley, rosemary, thyme, amazing. If you wanna do something that is a little more Indian inspired, throw some turmeric in there, maybe some cayenne, some garam masala. Beautiful. Whatever you make your soup spice mixture as will taste delicious. You can also see what herbs you might have laying around that you want to use up, dried or fresh. You can throw some fresh basil in there. Fresh mint is delightful. Parsley, all of these things, or of course dried work as well. I'm just gonna give this a stir. Now, here's the other great thing. I have all these vegetables. I'm making a very easy soup full of all the colors, right? We're supposed to eat a rainbow of colors. So I have orange, I have red, I have white, I have green. It's just a beautiful melange of color and antioxidants, so many vitamins and minerals coming in here. And it's going to be simply delicious. All right, this is looking good. I'm gonna put in some garlic. I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna throw in my spices. And we're gonna cook this all together, and that's called blooming your spices. So when you cook your spices a little bit, especially with some fat like an olive oil, they will cook, they will toast, it will release some of their essential oils and their flavors, and it'll make a nice developed flavor for your base here. All right. Okay, so I have 2 cans of sliced carrots and I've rinsed and drained them. Those are going in. I have 1 small can of rinsed and drained beets. 1 can rinsed and drained the green beans. I'm gonna give it a quick stir here. I'm gonna turn down the heat a little bit. Get everything going together. I have my 1 can of diced potatoes, rinsed and drained. Now here's the trick about these last 2 ingredients, the potatoes and my white beans. So that's how we're going to get our creamy texture without actually using any cream or milk or dairy. The beans are going to add some nice texture. They'll thicken up that soup. They'll really, really get in there and add some body. And those white beans will make it super creamy when we puree them. And they also are adding a lot of plant-based protein. So we're getting a lot of wonderful nutrients from the vegetables, but we are also getting some great plant-based protein from those beans. You can use other beans if you like, whatever you like, lentils, black beans, kidney beans, these will all be delicious. The white ones are softer. I find they get very creamy, but any of the beans or lentils that you like should work beautifully, and it'll just maybe change the color a little bit of your soup. Now I'm going to pour in, I have 6 cups of vegetable stock here. I'm going to pour in about a half to 1 cup first, so I can kind of get things going. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit because we do want to just get everything mixed together here. Now, the beauty of this soup also is that everything is cooked, right? The only thing we really had to cook were the onions and the garlic. So all the vegetables have been steamed, as it were, being canned. So I'm going to turn this heat off now because we'll be able to puree this and then heat it up. Everything is going to be a little bit safer that way in some ways because there can be splatters when you're pureeing things, and this won't be so hot. So there you go. There's another great thing for us. So in goes more of this stock. There you go. And I'm going to save a little bit on the side because you get to determine how thick you want your soup. So if you like it a little thinner, more stock. If you like it a little thicker, less. Okay, now the final thing for this part, I have the juice and the zest from 1 lemon. I like to add citrus. It adds a nice burst of flavor, a nice pop to everything. You can use orange juice, you can use lime juice, you can use vinegar, like a white wine vinegar might be nice. And apple cider vinegar. But that's going to go in now. We're going to mix that all together. And then, so you have 2 options here for your pureeing process. You can get a blender if you have that and do it in batches. I find that an immersion blender actually works quite nicely because the ingredients are cooked so well that it does puree easily right in the pot with an immersion blender. So let's do that now. Whoop. All right, beautiful. That didn't take any time at all, right? That was very fast. Just gonna move this out of the way. Get this. Now I like the consistency that it's at right now, so I'm not going to add the remaining 1 cup or so of that stock. But I am gonna take this, which is maple syrup, and a little touch of sweetness. It can be maple syrup, which I enjoy. It adds a nice maple flavor. You can also add a little bit of honey. That's just going to smooth it out a little bit because there's a lot of ingredients in here, and that touch of sweet actually counters some of any bitterness that might be there. So let's move this over here. So now the final step would be, of course, to taste it and adjust any seasoning that might work for you. You can add more salt, pepper, more of whatever seasonings you use. You might need another touch of syrup or lemon juice. You're gonna eat it, right? So whatever you like or don't like, you can zhuzh it up. Now let's see if I can put some in a little bowl here. Now it is like a nice pink color. So here is my lunch. You can pair this with some crusty bread. You can make a grilled cheese sandwich. Here you go, right? Beautiful. You can make some croutons. If you have some leftover bread, make it into some croutons. Put that right on there. Really, honestly, there's so many great ideas here. You can put some fresh herbs, maybe some Parmesan. All great things. So once again, I am registered dietitian and chef Abby Gelman, talking to you about the comfort foods you can make with cans and the sustainability of cans. And here's a bunch right here, right? Go out, they're super affordable, stock up your pantry. It's a great way to get any meal on the table. Super fast, super delicious. We just made a whole soup for, this is gonna serve about 8 people. You can portion it out and freeze it and then grab it for a quick lunch or dinner any day. All right, thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye.